Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and someone who knows a lot about Japanese spandex. Incoming random review in 3, 2, 1.
So this should be the figure I have been waiting for a long time. I have been very disappointed with the stretch of Ironhides that we have gotten in Transformers ever since, well, the original. It seems like ever since his original toy looks so different from his animation model, cartoon's fault, not the toy's fault, it just feels like he's the one destined to be wrong every single time. From the Universe 2.0 with its blue face and complex transformation, to the Combiner War, which wasn't even the right vehicle mode or body style, and then of course the Earthrise version, which was crazy hard to get and looks fine, but relies on about 20% of him being a big shield. So now we finally have this, a fully self-contained Ironhide in Studio Series. No having to go through Amazon, no crazy aftermarket prices. It is just straight up as solid a Ironhide as they could possibly come up with. So, did it go wrong? That's why you watch these reviews, right? Let's go over it, shall we? And we'll go in with a close-up to go and give you the details of it. As you can see, he is the classic red van that he was all the time. Pretty much as close to the original Nissan Sunny Vanette vehicle mode as they can legally get today. So, it is red. It is all red. It is red all over the place from front to back. All you see is red. And now, to be fair, it's not a bad shade of red. It's a nice, rich shade of red. It's very appropriate for Ironhide. Though, if you're looking carefully, yes, the red does have some issues because we have not one, not two, but 3 different qualities of plastic going on here. We have your standard ABS that's making up all this. We have the translucent blue, which is creating this darker red shade because this is all translucent plastic that's been painted over. And then we have areas like this where it looks very matte finish. That's the palm plastic that can handle friction much easier, so it will handle transformation joints, etc. But for whatever reason on this figure, there are large swaths of it on the rear. This actually feels a little rough compared to the rest of the vehicle. It's a weird thing to realize. It's weird to have multiple textures on a van. But hey, that's what we're going for. So yeah, it's a little bit broken up. Hasbro still hasn't figured out how to get all the different plastics to actually mesh and actually come up the same color. It's a problem they've always had. Probably they're never going to figure it out. We just have to deal with it. The van itself is nicely sized. It's a beefy little van. Definitely bigger than a deluxe. One of the things about this toy is the size. And we'll try to bring in a comparison for the robot mode. I don't have one for ready for vehicle, but in hand, it's a decently sized van with a nice bit of weight to it. Like, it actually does feel pretty dense for what it is. So, no points off there. For added paint that is not red, we do have a lot going on in the front for headlights, grille, and for the front bumper. The rear bumper has also been painted as well. And the rims for the tires, so you have that. What you do not have painted is the yellow striping. You have sections where it looks like it was molded in to go, but they never did it. And man, I know a yellow stripe, just one yellow stripe is a hard thing to just like actively complain about and feel like you're being taken seriously. But it really does send Ironhide away from just being this barren swath of red. You know, he just looks like a blank canvas. You're looking like you want to do something with it, and they never really get around to doing anything with it. That's kind of the vibe. That yellow breaks up the red so much, and it's so missing when, you know, it hurts. It hurts. I hate it. So look for repro labels to come up with that red later. Aside from the lack of yellow, you also have some obvious flaws in vehicle mode. We have some exposed hinges here through the side, especially this one up front. man, like at the Voyager price point, especially this getting smaller than your standard Voyager, I kind of feel like there should have been enough budget to clean this up, but yeah. And then you got oddities. So for instance, you have the little blue tabs on the top. That's going to be for Ratchet's light bar that comes out. Why it is pegs sticking out and not like sockets so the light bar can peg in later, I don't know. It looks weird though. Also, I have a ton of little tolerance issues on this. It took me quite a while to get the vehicle mode this solid. A lot of the problem came up here where some of the things don't really push in and tab in like they're supposed to. You can see where the panel here is kind of gapped out. It didn't close up all the way. Then obviously like this panel does not connect well. Yeah, so the tabs just do not hold on. And then here on the back where there is a tab to hold things together, but then it starts pulling this apart here. And this side tabs together fine. Then it starts pulling this side apart again. Yeah. I'm not the only one. I checked on Twitter. Other people are having tolerance problems like this too, and it's super frustrating because it doesn't seem that hard. Hasbro's been using tabs to hold panels together on Transformers for years, so why did this one get screwed up after they've done so many? Also, I will tell you, getting that front windshield to connect to finish this transformation the first time is difficult. It takes a lot of force, a scary amount of force. After that, it's not so bad, but man, it's really uncomfortable to do the first time you do it. Yeah, there's some major tolerance problems with this toy. Mileage may vary on things like that, of course. Yours might be fine. For me and the other people who told me on Facebook or on Twitter, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And it wasn't just me. But let's get this thing into robot mode so we can actually see if it's all worth it or not. So let's go ahead and take the guns off the bottom where they store. Which, by the way, they store on there well enough to keep track of them, but they take up a little bit too much space on the underside, and like they start scratching. So I would not recommend rolling him along with his guns in storage. Alright, so to get this guy transformed, well, first off, we got to get that front section off. Now, getting it all tabbed together is difficult, but getting it untabbed can also kind of be tricky because it's a very tight set of tabs, and I just trimmed my thumbnails. This was a bad choice and bad bit of timing on my part. Oh my god. Alright, so I might actually have to cut away just to get this thing into transform. Okay, let's see if I can wiggle it enough. There we go. Okay. Now we can start separating things out. So we'll go ahead and start opening up all of the panels to get everything revealed like so. And then from there we'll start separating things out. So leave the rear half alone for now. We'll go ahead and rotate that around. This part separates to create the arms. Go ahead and bring them up like so. See, they're not going, shouldn't be going anywhere for a while. They'll be fine. Get all this down. I'm going to go ahead and flip the head up now out of the chest. For the chest, you got these two little tabs here, so go ahead and fold those in. Yeah, yeah. I was going to point something out, but it's hard to see on this camera. Never mind. Oh, I do like how all that clicks together really smoothly. That's actually a really nice like feel to it. All right, so once you got that in place, right, all this rear stuff has to go to the back. So all this, hang on, got that wrong. See, all that all the way to the back. Then click all that into place. That can go there. And that's essentially the upper half done and ready. So let's go ahead and handle the lower half now. Well, it's fine. I need it in this position anyway. Go ahead and split all this up. And now, some fun bit of folding here. So I'm going to take all this down, fold that windshield in, close the whole thing up around here, and then just adjust it until it's right there in line to be the foot. and close that in. You want to see that again? We can do that again. All right, so pull all of that down across the hinges. Make sure all this is out of the way. Go ahead and close that window up. Then the rear panel of the van closes up like so, and then just fold in like that, clip together. There you go. And after that, fold these panels down, and like so, to form the side of the leg. Make sure all that is tabbed together and holding in place, and that is going to give us Ironhide in a very satisfying transformation into his robot mode. He's got a lot of interesting like folding panels folding into each other that actually makes his transformation a lot of fun. Like I said, transforming him back into van mode is going to require a little bit more force than necessary, a little bit more force than you would think, but it does actually like lead to a very, very nice transformation back into the robot mode. It's fun, it's intriguing, it's really interesting. It's not overcomplicated, despite how many panels and gaps there were in the vehicle mode. There is some intuitiveness to it, and some modern engineering sensibility with like all the panels folding up into the legs like so. But yeah, he's fun to transform, and when you get him into the robot mode, you've got this really nice, well-proportioned Ironhide. Like, it looks like I would hope an Ironhide toy would look. Like, he's big, blocky, he looks powerful, like, he's what I want out of my, like, security guard, bodyguard, how do you want to cast him? Any way you can. It's your toy, your imagination. So I mentioned a size comparison. The last review I did was Crasher. So we go ahead and put Crasher here, and as you can see, definitely not, only a little bit taller than your average deluxe, but a lot bulkier. Especially if I move it to the side, and you can see just like how thick of a boy he is. Again, when you feel him, when you pick him up, he feels heavier than you would expect, especially in the robot mode. For some reason, the robot mode especially just feels really beefy and heavy. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. So, yeah, so bulk-wise and engineering complexity-wise, I can see why he's at the price point he is. I do wish he was a little bit bigger, but it's a weird budgetary trade-off thing we're just going to have to live with. How about the head sculpt? Because Ironhide has had bad luck with heads in the past. Here, he pretty much looks spot on like he does in the cartoon. It's not too hard. It's just this like futuristic Spartan helmet, and then just a simple silver face with blue eyes. Like, why is this difficult? Why was his face blue in 2008? Who did that? Well, regardless of who did it, now we have this version, which looks lovely. Yeah, much happier with that. So, once I get the focus to work again, you can see proportionally, yep, big blocky shapes, looks really solid. As we see, he does clean up really nicely. Like, he's got a lot of panels going on, but they all collapse together. The front bumper is really the only bit of kibble, and honestly, I've seen so many worse backpacks than that. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's absolutely nothing as far as like complaining about kibble goes. So yeah, works all the way around. Looks really solid. Really nice. So, detail-wise, we will admit Ironhide was never the most decoed transformer in the world. He's never that colorful. Another reason why I miss the yellow stripe is the fact that sometimes it's the only little bit of color he gets. We have added a little bit more gray thanks to his forearms and shoulder blocks, as well as the midsection. There's some discontent over the diaper, that pelvis panel, which on this is all one panel that all hinges up, when it really feels like it should have been 3 panels with just like the 2 flaps to be a little bit cleaner. It does make a few positions weird, and if it bugs you that much, you can be very careful with an X-Acto knife and fix it. I've seen a tutorial on that, but I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend going like that crazy just over like a very minor cosmetic imperfection. But yeah, beyond that, like he looks very fit. Like I said, like the engineering on this toy is really impressive to come up with this out of the old school van. Really, really nice. To go into the articulation rundown, the head goes up and down quite a bit. It's on a hinge on side from also being on a ball, so 360-degree rotation all the way around. Shoulders, universally engineered, so all motion in every direction. They also had that faux like armpit thing that I really like when they do, so it fills that gap very nicely. 360-degree at the bicep, 90-degree at the elbow. Wrist rotation works here. Waist rotation, working really, really nice. Hips, plenty of room and range. Universal, nothing restricted. Like I said, that makes the flap come up, but that's not too bad. It's Ironhide. Are you going to be doing high kicks? Is he going to be doing like Broadway step dancing? No, he's not. 360 degrees in the thigh swivel, 90-degree at the knee. I love this. I love a little bit of extra here. We do have the ankle tilt, but we also have some forward and back in the foot as well, thanks to the transformation. You got plenty you can do with the leg articulation as a result. Always really good to see. And articulation feels nice for mine, except on the thighs, where I wish they were a little bit more solid, a little bit stiffer, but you know, that's, again, mileage may vary. Yours could be fine. It could just be my poor luck with the tolerances. And then we can go ahead and put his twin pistols back in his hands. The twin pistols, like, Ironhide is usually known as like a built-in transformer stuff where, like, you know, he's got liquid nitrogen and glue and all kinds of things he can spray out of his hands. You know, it's just kind of his gimmick in G1. The guns are from his death scene in the live-action movie. It's a little bit morbid, but you know what? It's Studio Series. That's entirely accurate, so okay. We'll give him his pistols and a very brutal send-off. So that, my friends, is Studio Series 86 Ironhide. If you want one in robot mode to just display really nice alongside your 84 characters, it's the best we've ever gotten. It'll be the right size for your Earthrise Optimus Prime and your current deluxes. It does have a really fun transformation to it when you can get the transformation to actually cooperate. I'm really hopeful that the difficulty I had getting panels to line up in vehicle mode and that stupid windshield being so hard to click in, I really hope that's just mine and that later batches or other batches had a little bit more luck than I did. But hey, yeah, you know, really only the disappointment as a result is the van mode, where there's too many panel gaps, there's too many hinges exposed, and there's no yellow stripe. So it's unfortunate where I feel like this could have been a definitive Ironhide, but there's just a few spots where the engineering and vehicle came up short, and where apparently the deco budget ran out. I don't know. But for whatever reason, this is as good as we've ever gotten. So yeah, for now, it is the Ironhide to get, and it is a fun toy. It just has some really deep flaws in one mode. And yeah, I hate to say it, but I think there's room for improvement. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.